Well, look at that. I'm here. I'm live. And I see people are already in the comments. Well, folks, how are you? My name is Kurt Von Onen. I'm here with my good friend, Magic Will Middleton. And folks, we've got questions that have already been submitted through the forms. We've got people in the comments. I recognize some of the names from some of our other communication at LifterLMS. So with that, I would like to welcome Peter and Gary to the call, because I know that they're already in there and they're probably chomping at the bit to ask us a couple of things. Will, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, buddy. I can hear you. Looks like Dave Hooper is here as well. He even just wrote hello. I know I'm coming to you from Hutchinson, Kansas. Will, are you in Minnesota?
No, I'm still out on the West Coast, but I'll be going to visit Minnesota actually next week.
Sweet. All right, so a couple of things. The first thing that I probably need to hit with this before I forget, and I got to go back a page. And basically, you've got, just for showing up here and participating in this live, you guys do get access to a 55% off coupon right now. And that is at lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. I always forget the hyphen. It is lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. Ask me anything -gift would be the way to remember that. And so I got those two obligations out of the way. And let's just dive into it, folks. If you are here, and we've got more people sign into the live, look at that. The number keeps going up. Folks, the way that we do things here is we invite people to put their questions into the chat. We will be here for about an hour total time. So go ahead and put your questions in. We try and tackle these things and make reality happen through screen shares and share with you as much as we can here on the call. If for some reason you are beyond the stage that we talk about on this call, if for some reason you're like, man, we really need some different kind of help, we need something out of scope, please know that LifterLMS has an experts link. It's one of the few tools on WordPress where you can go right to lifterlms.com/experts. And there's a whole list of vetted experts there that you can reach out to assist you with your program, your package, your specific use case. Because while LifterLMS is awesome out of the box, it's also super flexible to customize and make use for your specific purpose. So I want to make sure that you know that that's also an option in case we can't get to you directly here from this. That all said, Will, is there anything you want to cover from this last week?
That's a good question. I think I'm good. I think I have all my LifterLMS questions answered, so I'm ready to dive into whatever people have on call here. And I'm happy to share some of my experiences building stuff in the last week, but I'm happy to dive into what people have in the chat.
Cool. Well, one of the first questions that we've got, and if I had to guess, I think this one is from Gary, but I'm going to just say from the form, right on the comment. I'll put that right in. We'll add that. You'll see that popping into new comments there, Will. It says, from the form, please describe the difference between your custom fields, the custom forms plugin, and ACF from Automatic. And Will can start to do kind of like a screen share, but while Will's getting his screen share ready to go, custom fields with LifterLMS is LifterLMS custom fields. And so that enables us to add custom fields to the LifterLMS forms that are inside our plugin, right? And then ACF is like a overarching, WordPress plugin tool that can do expectedly a whole lot more. But Will, if you could show us what we're doing with the Lifter side, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, Fred was like, where's the chat? The chat's over here in StreamYard, so we're actually collecting chats from a bunch of different platforms. But
yeah, and you could put a comment in Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and provided all those integrations are actively working, we'll get that feedback here.
Absolutely. So the difference between custom fields, custom forms plugins, and ACF from Automatic, there are some important distinctions. ACF from Automatic, Advanced Custom Fields, is what that stands for. You can find it on the plugins Add New area under Advanced Custom Fields or ACF. What this one does is it adds the ability to support things inside WordPress that weren't there before. You can make your own custom post types. So for example, if I wanted to support movies on the back end of my website, I could use the ACF to create a movies post type. I could also use the custom field that ACF to, what could we do with it? We could add fields to a course page. I use Elementor a lot with LifterLMS. So what people do is they create a template for their courses and their lessons. So they'll put custom fields on lessons called like lesson, it's not lesson video, but whatever. They'd have like lesson intro, they'd have like lesson middle part, lesson end. Like those aren't features LifterLMS has. So you can use Lifter or Advanced Custom Fields to put custom fields on the back end of your WordPress post types and then display them on the front end. ACF is a pretty complicated one, so I don't recommend getting into it unless you're really ready to step into some deep WordPress stuff because it's pretty advanced. But diving out of ACF and talking about custom forms plugins, this is going to be separate from something like Gravity Forms and Ninja Forms, WP Forms, or Formidable Forms. So the Forms plugins, let's take a look at WP Forms. That's a pretty popular one. I think Ninja Forms is actually the one I have installed. But there's a lot of form solutions in WordPress, and what these do is they're form builders. You could create a contact form. That's the most common use case, but you can also have people submit feedback to you within lessons. Could be a testimonial. It could be some kind of homework assignment if you wanted to do that kind of thing through a form. There's a lot of reasons you might want to embed forms inside of LifterLMS content, not just have a generic contact form. And these form builders allow you to do that. And they also have some unique functionality for having users register on your website. But mostly what we see users do with forms is embed them inside of lessons, embed them inside of content. But moving on to LifterLMS custom fields, this one's an interesting one. So LifterLMS custom fields only pertains to these 3 LifterLMS forms out of the box, right? So we have billing information where people view this on the checkout page where it says, I guess I could view this one as a sample. It asks for your email, it asks for your password, and then your first last name, and you could add phone number and address. But the LifterLMS Custom Fields add-on allows you to extend this and go further. What the LifterLMS Custom Fields add-on allows you to do is, if I see, here it is, custom user information. Once you have the LifterLMS Custom Fields add-on, it allows you to ask for different information when people sign up. Some people will use this for like a license number. They would say, hey, I do like a continuing education course, and I need to collect a license number from my people. I need to make sure that they do fill out their license number, and then we would change it like this, license number, and then we could have a little short code that we might display on our certificates. That would be the license number short code. So whatever you put in at checkout for your license number would be displayed on your certificate. So that's LifterLMS custom fields. LifterLMS custom fields also allows you to customize checkouts so that one checkout can have certain questions. It can have like a certain checkout form for one of your memberships and a different checkout form for a different membership. So just to kind of recap, Advanced Custom Fields is going to extend the post type features of WordPress, like expand your blog posts and your lessons and your courses functionality. I don't recommend getting into this unless you feel like you absolutely need to. Then the forms plugins are going to allow you to create contact forms and more advanced forms within your user experience. And then LifterLMS Custom Fields enhances the LifterLMS user registration process and how fields are stored and what fields you can create. What do you think about that?
I think that's a really good coverage of the different things, because a lot of people get confused over, like, what are you trying to do? Like, it sounds crazy, but a lot of people come to Will and I and they ask us questions. And the first thing we're like is, why? What in the world are you trying to do? And in a lot of cases, there's a simpler approach or a more direct approach. And then in a lot of cases, and please don't get insulted if you haven't heard me talk before. I'm a direct communicator. A lot of folks will be looking for this widget, this button, this automation, this feature, this cool thing. And then finally, I'm like, well, I haven't done that for anybody else yet. And I start thinking, well, that's kind of weird because I've done hundreds of projects. So then I go, have how seasoned is this product? Have you made this? Have you launched yet? And 9 times out of 10, more than that, it's no, I haven't launched yet. I don't have any paying customers. I don't have any students. And so then that goes back to the original conversation that we have a lot in our pre-sales type calls or our Ask Me Anything calls. And that is focus on a minimal viable product, do a proof of concept, get some people into your site, and then develop special features and stuff like that as it expands and as the need occurs. That's a whole different topic, but that does come up quite a bit when we start getting into customizations or integrations and things, because it's what's the root cause for this, searching for this feature. And in a lot of cases, the folks that are asking for special features, it'll just go from leapfrog from one feature to the next feature to the next feature, and years can go by and they won't launch. We've seen that happen with a lot of folks. So we're typically really encouraging people to get something launched, get some students, get a minimal viable product. And then of course you can always increase the capacity or the features of your sites post-launch. The next question I'm going to throw in here for you actually is in here twice, Will. We got it once on the forum, and then we got it once directly through comments, but it was easier here through comments. Dave asks, can we trigger an email when someone fails a final exam?
It's a good question. You can absolutely trigger an email when someone fails a final exam. Let's take a look at how you would do that. So if I go into one of my courses, let me first install a final exam so we have something to work with. So I'm going to go to my course builder. I'm going to go to add a quiz. This is going to be my final exam. And then let's just leave all the settings as default for now. I'm going to add a question. Is LifterLMS the right choice for your LMS? This is the only question I'm going to have on the final exam. No. Perfect. So we have our final exam created. Let me go ahead and publish that. Always need to make sure that's published. We'll give it a second to give me the orange button back so I can save my changes. There it goes. Awesome. So now that I have my final exam published, let me copy my name, right? So I can find this. I'm going to go create an engagement for my final exam. And they said an email. Is that right, Kurt, when they fail?
An email when somebody fails.
Absolutely. So let's go to engagements emails. Let's design this. So we're going to say email template, final exam.
You are adult.
What were you going to say?
You are adult. D-O-L-T. Dolt. You failed. Nothing. It's an old term. I'm old, Will. I keep telling you I'm old.
I don't even know. I don't know what that means. But yeah, let's see. Hi, first name. Whatever you want to put in your email. We are sincerely disappointed. Whatever. You want to be nice about it. Whatever content you want to put in your email. Here's how you can learn more and pass next time. Whatever you want to do in your email. And all the best. So now we have our email template created. We're using a shortcode to fill in their email first name. The default email is the student email. This is an important piece of this because I want this email to go to the student. This might be an example where you want to inform an instructor, or is that what's going on, where the instructor should know if they fail, or is it going to the student?
It doesn't say, but it's cool to know that you can do both. So
okay, so maybe like you would want to say, oh, student name failed the quiz, instead of, I'm imagining a student gets an email. But we could do admin email instead. If you're trying to email the admin that somebody failed, you could do that, but structure the email a little bit differently. But I'm going to imagine this email goes to the student, but it works the same either way. So let's go to add engagement now that we've created our email. This is the failed exam, final exam fail email. So we're going to say student fails a quiz. We're going to select which quiz. It was the final exam quiz. So if you fail,
it's the final countdown.
I was listening to that song yesterday, 2 days ago. That's a good song. But yeah, student fails a quiz, the final exam specifically. When you fail that one, I want to send an email, and I want to send the final exam fail email, right? So this logic can be a little bit complex to people who are seeing it for the first time, but it's pretty simple. if you just kind of think through it slowly. Fails quiz, which quiz, this one, what do you want to do? Send an email, which email, that one. No delay. Let's publish. So now what happens is when somebody fails the quiz, they're going to receive the email that I just set up. But like I showed, you can actually change that to be the admin email, because as I was going through, I was like, maybe you want to inform an admin. So there is an option for that too. Just change the email to admin email and then write a different email to yourself. Yeah, that's how you would do that.
Shazam. I was trying to go to our YouTube channel real fast and see if Fred's trying to put in a comment, because I haven't seen a comment come through yet in our screen. So I was just going to check so that's where I was. That's why it looked like I wasn't. You know what? I feel sorry for people that watch this, Will.
Why do you feel sorry?
You and I both have a little bit of ADD. Like trying to track us sometimes must be kind of hard.
Totally.
Dave's got another question in here, and he wants to customize the email for groups. And I've heard this before, and I'll be honest, I don't think we had an answer for it the first time. I think it's a platform-driven dynamic thing.
It's a PHP template in the plugin folder. You need like a custom developer to do it.
Yeah. So big answer, yes. Little answer, no, right? Yeah, it's in a PHP. It's there, right? It's in the site. Could you change it? Yes. Could I do it for you? No, it's above my pay scale. I would hire a developer to jump in that. That would be probably someone else on the experts list. Codeable's on the expert list, right? So Codeable could probably knock that out for you, simple and cheap.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Codeable is pretty reasonable pricing. It's not super complicated, that single request. So you could send it to a pretty intro developer to modify your PHP template or divert which emails fire. Like that's a pretty simple one. So it's not a huge job. But the developer you hire does need to know LifterLMS groups, or else they're going to have to learn it. You're going to have to pay them to spend the time to learn it. So the short answer is no, like Kurt said. The long answer is yes, but it requires some high skills in there.
Yeah. Let's jump onto the new one, man. I got an anonymous one through the form, and it was, is LifterLMS support multi-instructors? So do we support multiple instructors?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a resource on the website. I'll go pull the link if Will's going to do something else, but I'll pull the link that's for roles and capabilities. We send that out a lot, and that shows you all the different roles that come with LifterLMS out of the box, the different capabilities that people have, and what an instructor can actually do. But there's a second part of this question, Will. Do you see that one?
Let's see. So instructors can have front-end course editor. That's the more complicated part. So let's take a look at this. So multi-instructor model. LifterLMS does support as many instructors as you'd like to have in your WordPress website. Just like you can have unlimited users, you can have unlimited instructors. As Kurt's pulling up a document about user roles, let's take a look at what those user roles are. So if I edit a user in WordPress, I can see there's a role capability here. This person's a student, but I could set them to be an instructor. You can read through all the roles we have: instructor, assistant, student, LMS manager. But instructors are allowed to create courses, and instructor assistants can manage courses other people make and that they are assigned to. So they're like assistants to those creators. I think the caveat to this question, right, was about, can we have front-end course builder? The answer is no. There is no LifterLMS front-end course builder. However, that kind of goes back to that custom code. We do have a community member. His name's, he's public, Chris Lassiter. He's out in our Facebook group. And so I think he actually has some pictures, some screenshots in the Facebook group of a front-end course builder that he had done. And there might be a video demo as well. I'd recommend going into the group and checking out what he made. So custom developers are making solutions over time, but LifterLMS doesn't provide a solution for that out of the box at the moment. So
yeah. And I just think it's like super, super important to like kind of just say it, to just clarify the fog, right? LifterLMS is a wonderful plugin. It does a ton of stuff, especially the FreeCore plugin. When you look at what the FreeCore plugin does and what it comes with, it's like, what do you mean this is free? Right? And then we've got add-ons. So if you're actively selling, creating revenue with your learning content, we have add-ons that you can improve the features and performance of your learning management system. But remember that as a plugin that serves thousands of course creators, we build it to fit like what's that avatar, what's that user base look like on a wholesale basis, right? And then obviously there's going to be people on the extremes of those balances that are going to be like, I don't need all this stuff. And then there's other people like, I need all this stuff. And when you need all of this stuff, there is a whole community out there of third-party plugins, additional tools, and things that can help you elevate your experience. For instance, and I just want to throw this out, Will, just quickly, people might look at our demo site. If they do the $1 demo, it's LifterLMS.com/try. It's $1 for 30 days. And you're going to see that there's embedded PowerPoints. There's embedded, Word documents in that sample website. But then when you're in a standard WordPress installation, you're not going to see a block that says install a Word document. And that's because there's a third-party tool that we've put in there. I believe it's called Embed Any Document. Right. And so sometimes because something is not used on a wholesale basis, but because there's a tool that's readily available, we don't necessarily build it internally into the platform. So that's why you'll see me and Will sometimes say, oh, well, look at this plugin or look at that extra tool. Sometimes they're premium tools and there's a fee. Other times they are completely free and open source in the repository. But I just we're getting a lot of folks in the live. We've got a lot of people in here now. We've got a couple of more questions to get through that are already in chat. And then if you want to ask a question today, jump into chat. But when you hear that some of our advice is to go somewhere else, it's not because the plugin's lacking. It's because you're asking for something that wasn't considered part of that original avatar or development yet. Is that fair, Will?
Yeah. That's fair. I like what you highlighted there about the perspective of we're referring you to a lot of other places because this is the place you come for some of those more complex edge case questions. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you just mention office hours? Because I was looking at the questions.
No, I hadn't. Office hours is great though.
For those that are watching this now, if you're a current bundle user, universe or higher with LifterLMS, we do a call every Thursday. It starts at 2:00 Central Time. That is people from all over the world sign into that call, and it's more of a group think. It's in a closed Zoom environment, but people can do screen shares and ask more technical questions and get into like customizations and all kinds of things like that. So sometimes we will defer people to that call as well. So we covered the multiple instructors. One thing to mention there, and I don't know if that question was from Dave or not, but there's also a thing called marketplace that is a possibility. And that is when you create a LifterLMS instance that allows other course creators to come into your site and sell their courses through your site with a revenue split. That question comes up a lot, and it's kind of related to that multiple instructors question. So we do have a setup that we've written blog posts about multiple times, and you could look up Marketplace or Udemy in the LifterLMS website, and you'll see content about that as well. All right. There was one other thing. Yeah, can you remove the login? This was from the form, and I think this was from Dave. So in the middle of his questions that we've already answered, it's can you remove the login from the LP profile page? And I think I've seen you do that. I think we did that on Kevin's website on office hours once.
The LearnPress profile page. Can you
remove the login?
Oh, okay. Let's
Is that
see.
the page that has the login and the registration forms on the same page? Is it that one?
Yeah. I feel like we could look at that. I was just like LP, that's LearnPress, not LifterLMS. But let's take a look at how to do that in LifterLMS. So just to distinguish, LearnPress and LifterLMS are distinctly different. So make sure you are on Lifter for that. But yeah, so you mean remove the login page from a group invitation? Yeah, for sure. So my recommendation, like, so we're getting into customizing the user experience a little bit. I went through this the other day with a client of like, oh, this exact thing of I guess I could recreate this to show you what I'm talking about. So when you use the LifterLMS Groups add-on, this is a pretty detailed question, right? So we're using the LifterLMS Groups add-on. We send a group invitation, and what does it look like when they click on that invitation? So this is what LifterLMS Groups looks like. It's a solution for you to be able to sell your training into other organizations. Organization leaders will use this link or this email invite. But let's imagine they use the link to invite their team into the website. I'm going to stop my screen share and reshare my incognito window and show you what it looks like when we click that link. So I got to jump back. It's a little bit dancing around here. Here we go. So I imagine that I'm an employee of an organization. I just click this invite link. I have it in my browser now. And so we show up and it says you've been invited to join that's the name of the group, the Real Estate Titans. That's but yeah, so name of the group. And so we have both a register form over here and a login form on the left. So what I'm imagining the question is, right, is how do we remove the login form from this page right here? Is that about what you're thinking?
I think that's what he's thinking.
And so for my client the other day, I talked to them a little bit and I'm like, wait, so you might have someone join multiple groups, so let's not do this, because if someone were to click a group invite link and they already have an account, they're not going to be able to join unless they have this option to log in. So, but a custom solution so I recommend leaving it exactly as it is and maybe adding a little bit of description text, because you can add information to the register form. Like, I'll show a couple of options here. Let me jump back to my WordPress admin. I think there's two great options here.
Yeah. And just to be clear, if you're already a member of the site and you can't log into the site to accept the invitation, it's not going to let you re-register because it's going to say you already have an account.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the limitation we'll run into. So my first recommendation to keep things as simple as possible would be to come to the register form and say, this is for new users who are signing up for the first time. Something explicitly clear and signing up for the first time. And then that text that I just added to my form, let me make sure it's complicated for me to go back and forth on this logged in, logged out window thing, but I'm going to do it. So let's window, share this. I'm going to reload. And this is really going to make the user experience a little bit, better, where you have explicitly what this form is for, and you could put in more emphasis and stuff like that. I'd recommend doing that. But if you did want to remove the login from this page and create a login on a different page, you could do that. And so what you would do is I would go into the code here, into the CSS. I'm on mobile for some reason, so let's go back to desktop. Let's isolate this whole box here, the form, the login form. Let's display none on this. So I would experiment with copying this form LMS login display none code and formatting that into the custom CSS of your theme. And then maybe you need to actually hide this whole column, because now I have an empty column. You know what I mean? Like, so you'd have to play in the CSS to hide this part and then just make this 100% width, which we could do. And then what you would do is go to the back end of your site and create a new login page. So this is just too many steps for me. Like, my brain's exploding thinking about it. But what you do is go to pages, add new. LifterLMS has a lifterlms.com/shortcodes. Wait, no, it's /docs. Docs/shortcodes. So this documentation has a login shortcode number 20. So you could create a new page with the login shortcode. Oh, so many pop-ups. So I would create a new page, call it login, and integrate that into my user experience with a little shortcode. So two options. You could either just clarify what the forms are for by editing the description of the forms, because those are editable with WordPress blocks. I'd recommend that, but technically getting more advanced is possible if you wanted to do what I described right there. with CSS and login page.
Cool.
But yeah,
That was a roundabout.
It is a roundabout. Dave said, I'm using the shortcode for my login page. Yeah. So that is, I mean, if you're already using the shortcode for login page, you've already got your user experience kind of like mapped out. So yeah, you could use the CSS tricks, and that will be theme dependent, and you can like play with the CSS a little bit to see if you can hide that login. And since you already have your user experience mapped out the way you want it, you could probably pull that off. It just takes a little more advanced thinking, but it seems like you're at that level where you're doing that thinking.
Well, Fast Web Creation's got a question for us. Wants to know who looks better bald, Kurt or Chris Lassiter? I'm going to give Chris Lassiter the kudos on that one. He's younger, he's more fit, just got out of the military. I mean, the guy's got it going on, man. I'm old, got a bald, got wrinkles, crow's feet, the whole thing, man. Look at this. Look at all those wrinkles, dude. You see all that?
Oh, yeah.
And I got this weird thing over here. See, I got this weird wrinkle that goes the wrong way. I don't even know what that's from. Must be a stress wrinkle.
Yeah, too many questions stressing you out on the call.
That's all right. Gary Alderson had a follow-up question about the custom fields, and I'm assuming it would be the LifterLMS custom fields in a registration form. So let me just give you some background. Gary is struggling with vouchers. He would love to be able to quickly identify what user used what voucher. And so he's trying to figure out, is he going to use like a custom form that could automatically fill in a voucher code that someone fills in when they like have a voucher? He's trying to take that information, map it to the user, and then have it generate a report without having something custom developed.
Yeah. The voucher system, let's take a look at the voucher system real quick. So LifterLMS has a system of vouchers for people who aren't familiar under orders vouchers. We have both vouchers and coupons, so this can sometimes be confusing to new users, but let's take a look at the distinction between the two. A voucher is going to be an enrollment code that just gets you into a course without having to pay for it. Whereas
it's like
a coupon,
paid ticket.
Pay like a paid ticket, and a coupon is going to be like 25% off. It could even be 100% off. But the real distinction in the technology is that the register form accepts vouchers and the billing information form accepts coupons. So the checkout, when you're paying money, you are able to use coupons for 100% off, 25% off, whatever it is. And when you're registering to the site, you're able to have an option for a voucher code. And that would enroll you into certain courses and memberships based on what that voucher code is associated with, right? So let's jump back to the vouchers. I was on a new tab. Here we are. Orders vouchers. I added a new voucher. And so I might say, if I'm selling my course into a company, this is one way to do it. Company XYZ. So company XYZ paid me a check or something, an invoice outside, and they're paying for like 3 of the courses on my website for a bunch of seats in those courses. Let's say they bought 50 seats. So let's add 50 codes with 1 use per code. So we have a ton of these codes now. I can export this as a spreadsheet and send it to them and say, hey, here's your 50 codes. Go ahead and send them to your employees. Here's the link to the registration page where they can sign up. That was the page we were just looking at. But we did a groups invitation instead of a voucher. You could do groups or vouchers. Vouchers is kind of the lightweight way to do it, and groups is a little more intensive, a little more of a customized user experience. But yeah, so here's our voucher codes. We have 50 of them with 1 use per code, and we can see redemptions over here, and we can see the name and email of the user who's redeemed the code. So there is an option to have these redemptions show on the back end of your site. What was the essence of the question, Kurt? Is that like how to have a report tied to this?
They want to easily sort what user cashed in which voucher.
And so I'm imagining that you're doing not what I did. You're probably doing like one code with 50 uses, and you want to filter users by which of them used one of the 50 of the like If it was like, oh, I have this code, company XYZ, and then there's 50 uses on this. I want to see which users have used this company XYZ voucher. That's probably the use case, I guess. And unfortunately, oops, I deleted it. Company XYZ, and it was a 50 use. So you're looking at like, oh, which users have used this coupon? I mean, and there's still the redemptions area here. So in LifterLMS out of the box, you have to go into the voucher in order to see which people have redeemed that voucher.
Yeah, it doesn't map to the user account at all, right?
Right. This is a feature of the voucher. It's like meta information on a voucher. It's not meta information on a user. So you would have to like export the users. This is where it's like custom spreadsheet work or where it's custom coding, where you have to compare the voucher post type with the users. So my recommendation is just to stick with the voucher reporting out of the box. Wait, let's see. Oh, Gary said in chat, given what voucher code did they use? I don't know what that means. Oh, we don't have, do we have our music going? I just realized.
No, I can go ahead and put some music on for you.
I'm not bopping today.
Oh, it was on. It just was low.
Oh, I just turned it to 11. But
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to make sure I understand what Gary's asking here. I don't understand actually the reverse given what voucher code did they use. So I'm looking at the voucher code now, and I should be able to see redemptions when people fill in these codes and use them on the site. So this is how myself as an admin would get a report, and then I would send this report to companies over time. But I'm not sure exactly. I could also just export the redeemed codes over time. But what does this say? Given a user what voucher? Oh, so we're looking at the user profile, seeing what voucher they use. Yeah, so that's not how LifterLMS stores the data. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure, like I haven't looked at the code for this, so I can't be 100% confident, but I'm like 95% sure that the voucher code is a post type inside of WordPress that has information about which user IDs have used the voucher code. It's not like edit the user profile and then the voucher code is associated with that. It's more like the voucher code stores users who used it, not that the user stores which voucher code the users have used. That makes sense. That like each table in WordPress has different information, and this table stores for the vouchers stores user IDs, and the users don't store any data regarding which vouchers they used. So we can't really get a report without custom development that shows from a user perspective which voucher they used. I think, because when we go to check it like enrollments and stuff, we go to the dashboard, we go to order history. There's nothing about like, oh, you ordered anything, because this is not vouchers. This is like through access plans and coupons and stuff would be here. But there's no like log of enrollments that's tied to a user. So it would be custom development where a developer would say, hey, I'm querying for this user ID. I want you to run through the vouchers and see which where in the vouchers list this user ID populates, and then return that result. So that's the custom development that we're trying to avoid. But unfortunately, that's kind of the only way here.
All right. Well, we've got 3 folks down. We've answered the shorter questions more quickly. Peter Horton jumped in with a long question, and I know I answered him in support already, but he's got a question for you here, Will, and I don't know if you'll see the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I could see it. Yeah, so Christopher Will, I watched your video on creating a test or quiz, and the way you explain it take a lot time. Kurt, wait. So you think my video is too long? People criticize me for going way too fast, so I'm trying to slow down now. I gotta watch your videos on like 0.75 pacing. Kurt sent me a link to Advanced Quizzes plugin. And it can be used as a person pays for the pro version, the Advanced Quizzes add-on, or the Infinity bundle. Yes. I use Copilot, and I'm able to supply a page of content, and it will create 20 questions, true and false, multiple choice, and more within 30 seconds. So all I need to do is put in a Word document. What? So,
He
So
wants to bulk upload quiz questions, and so I sent him to that Ninja tool.
yeah,
Because Ninja has that third-party plugin, but I think he's looking for something free. I don't know of anything free.
yeah.
I mean, WP Fusion would be another option, right? You could customize some kind of WP Fusion upload or something, but that Ninja WP Ninja's third-party tool I thought was pretty clear and direct.
It's pretty clear and direct. I mean, I can talk about a few solutions here, but let me see.
Well,
this question's kind of up high in the queue.
Can you remember what? There you go. You turned it off. There you go. Because I was like, I got to turn off the words. I can't see your face or your name.
Yeah. So I think the crux of this setup here, right? The question is like, oh, is that the only way to pay for the pro version? You can buy the advanced quizzes plugin, but that doesn't change. Like true, false, and multiple choice are in the free core LifterLMS plugin, so you don't need advanced quizzes to do true, false, or multiple choice. That's in the free core plugin. But so you're just uploading things. So the advanced quizzes plugin does not allow you to upload quizzes in bulk. LifterLMS does have an importer tool, but it only works LifterLMS to LifterLMS, right? So the question is like, are you going to pay for the Ninja Form tool? Are you going to copy and paste your questions yourself, or hire out to someone else to copy and paste your questions in that you generate? Or are you going to try to like play with AI writing you code or formatting code for uploaders? Like, so you can, I would recommend just buying the like Kurt said, what are they called? The Ninja, LMS Ninjas, I think. LMS Ninjas, I think is their name, who built that quiz importer exporter thing for Lifter. What you can,
Woo Ninjas.
Woo Ninjas, okay. Woo Ninjas is a third-party company that created a solution for this many years ago, and I still use that solution. It's a little bit like, in full disclosure, the user experience of that plugin is a little bit janky, but for I've had customers who are trying to upload a lot of questions to their LMS site, and I'm like, hey, if you were to pay someone $20 an hour to copy and paste this stuff, the pricing on this is going to work out to about like $600 to $800 because there's so many copy and pasting to do. And so I recommend, hey, buy this LMS Ninja or this Woo Ninjas add-on, and then have someone just format your questions in a spreadsheet. It takes an $800 job and it turns it into a $200 job. So it's not automatic, but it takes the job and makes it a bit smaller. You can, I mean, if you're using Copilot and reformatting things and asking it for questions, what you could do, I don't know. I don't really recommend this because you're entering developer territory. I don't really know anything about your history with development or what your interest is in going into this project, but you could go to the Copilot AI or go to the ChatGPT AI with really good descriptions and be willing to test and break some things and say, hey, I would like you to format me a LifterLMS quiz importer. I want it to take the data from this specific format, change it into the LifterLMS format, and then create it as a quiz in the back end of the website. And then I'm going to attach it to the lesson myself manually. You just have to be very clear, and then you have to be willing to test it, willing to, work on it for a little bit. So there are ways you could build your own custom coded solution with the help of AI in order to be able to take all of these Word documents you're generating with a ton of questions, convert those into a format that works for LifterLMS, and upload it to your website. But what it involves is some knowledge about how to build custom plugins and some knowledge about how to, how the plugin works and how to manipulate the AI into getting it to do what you want it to do. So that's kind of like a rabbit hole, but I don't know, the blanket solution right now is copy and paste all your questions in. There's a few shortcuts you can do, like the Woo Ninjas add-on, and then also you could go, if you're into the AI, you might want to give it a spin and see if you could get it to build what you want it to build. I don't know. That's not a super well-rounded answer. The well-rounded answer is just copy and paste your content in. advanced quizzes isn't going to help you upload things. The Woo Ninjas add-on will help you upload things, but it won't be like a perfect automatic solution. But maybe you could develop that automatic solution if you're interested in experimenting with a little bit of AI and you have a staging website you can break. That's what I think.
Sounds reasonable to me, Will. Sounds reasonable to me. The good thing is once you build it, you can export it, import it. You can do all kinds of stuff after it's built, but you do have to build it. So
Yeah.
Fred did jump in through YouTube, and he managed to get us a question. So Fred, welcome to the call, right? Fred says, how can I troubleshoot the issue of product information appearing alongside the course details in the order summary and customer invoice email in WooCommerce? So he's got WooCommerce, and he's got an invoice that goes out through WooCommerce, and he's saying that there's an issue with product information appearing alongside the course details.
Product information on the course details in the order summary. Oh, so okay. So you're looking at a WooCommerce integration. So I'm going to take a high level of the WooCommerce integration real quick because this is an AMA call. So we might have some people on here who haven't heard of WooCommerce or seen it worked with Lifter before. So I'm going to activate the WooCommerce plugin. And what the WooCommerce plugin allows you to do is sell things on your website in a store format. So there's a cart feature, there's tax integrations. You can do physical, digital products side by side. There's a lot of things you could do. And LifterLMS has an integration with WooCommerce. But it's not the only way to sell things through LifterLMS, right? Because we recommend using the Stripe add-on from Lifter or the PayPal add-on from Lifter. There's an easy solution. WooCommerce is going to be a little more advanced because it requires integrating with another e-commerce tool and managing the integration between the two. So let me go ahead and enable my WooCommerce integration though. So I'm using WooCommerce LifterLMS and LifterLMS WooCommerce integration. And what we're saying here is product information appearing alongside course details in the order summary. I'm not sure what that exactly means, but let's take a look at what the process looks like and I'll see if I can get something similar to happen. So if I were to jump into my LifterLMS Quick Start course, and I were to create an access plan, this is going to be a little bit different than when I'm doing a free access plan or when I'm doing it with a Stripe add-on. Because what it asks me to do is say, associate your access plan with a WooCommerce product, right? Why is blouse? Why does that pop? What? WooCommerce products.
Well, it pulls up any product from WooCommerce. Yeah, so there's a sample blouse in there.
I know. I didn't know.
Maybe you want a jacket.
There's a bunch of sample products. I'm going to throw these sample products in the trash on my demo site.
No. Buy a jacket and get a free course.
Buy a jacket and get a free course. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Quick Start course. Oops. Course plus jacket. Quick Start course and the jacket. So now that I have my product, we're going to set it to be virtual. I'm going to set the regular price to be $100. Publish. WooCommerce is a little bit of it. It's an advanced integration, like I said before. A lot of people don't consider it an advanced integration, but I do because I've set it up a ton of times. And I'm like, this is a complicated one because there's settings for WooCommerce in the integration that are very important when we say, what's like the enrollment status, right? Order enrollment status is completed. So if I don't select downloadable, this is not going to go to completed. And the problem is that when you hover over this box, this is downloadable products. If I zoom in, give access to a file, it's like, that's confusing. This is an advanced integration. So I'm just going to set this to processing. And if you want to understand more about why this should be processing and this should be virtual and leave that unchecked, watch a video about it. There's like, I talk about it in depth. But yeah, so I'm going to set it to virtual. $100. The order enrollment status is going to be processing in my settings. And that's all I need to do. So now I'm going to go back to my course. And now I only have one product. So it should only show Quick Start course plus jacket. I'm going to save this. So now when people buy the Quick Start course plus jacket, they're going to be enrolled into my Lifter course. And so we're saying on the final order screen or the order complete screen, we're getting something weird. And also in the email, there's something weird. So let me go install an email log so I can capture that email. So I can check the email and I can check the order screen. Let's just install this. I want to, this demo site and the Lifter demo sites don't send emails. So I need to install a log to capture the email on the back end of my site so I can look at it. Let's just activate this and email log.
there.
It's getting there. Update the WooCommerce database. No. Okay.
No.
No, not right now. But yeah, so let's view the course. Start strong, right? So sign me up. When you have the LifterLMS WooCommerce thing going, it adds the product to your cart. We can go to the cart, go to checkout, and actually I do have a coupon because I don't think I do I have a coupon? Add a coupon. Let me make myself a coupon real quick. I want a discount. Let's see, WooCommerce. I have to enable coupons in the settings. I'm telling you, or is it over here in marketing? Is it?
It's in marketing.
Well, oh yeah, I think you have to enable it somewhere in the settings. Sometimes it's missing. Let's see. So this is free. That's my coupon name. 100%. This is a really advanced e-commerce solution. So some people really like getting into this thing, but I recommend staying out of all this e-commerce complexity unless you feel like you absolutely need it. So free is my coupon code, right? Free, because I don't want to pay $100. Okay, there we go. So this is my email. Let's test. And I just want to make sure I'm looking for the right thing. Oh, sure, California's fine. What was the error we're looking at here? We're looking to see.
Just getting product information next to the course name in the email.
Okay. So let's take a look at our order complete page. So we're seeing the product is the Quick Start Course Plus Jacket. That's the WooCommerce product. And then the course is the LifterLMS Quick Start course. This is usually how it's supposed to show. And then let's take a look at the email log. And we should see like a receipt. So we have two emails here. What is this? Your new order and your order has been received. So we're seeing this. I'm not like being unable to see what you're reporting. I would imagine it's this, and this is this is normal. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you could put more information in chat about it, but that's yeah.
And the be all end all is you went through the process, and so if you're not seeing what Will is seeing on the screen share, one of your options might be incorrect in the WooCommerce setup or in the enabling through the LifterLMS settings. And you could reach out to help@lifterlms.com and maybe submit a couple of screenshots if that would help get along in the process, right? Because there's all kinds of ways to go. We've only got a few minutes left, Will. Dave's got another question. This one's about language. He says, language support. Using the Google Translate plugin, can I provide alternate videos for each language in LifterLMS? Otherwise, I have to clone the course and just swap out the videos. Well, we could talk about the easy button, or we could talk about the hard button. Because you could, I mean, with some automation tools or whatever, you could say, here's different versions of the video tagged by, assign a tag to the user. And when that user is signed into a certain course, see that language is video, associated with the tag. I mean, you could get into that kind of a setup, right? So that when the user goes to the course, the block with the video you're going to have in your side, you're going to see the edit screen. It's going to be American, French, Spanish, Italian, whatever. But those blocks are only going to only be visible to the people that have the tag for that language if you go through the heartache of setting all that up.
And that involved like a WP Fusion. Yes. And a WP Fusion thing. Or you could clone the course and put in the assets that match the language for the course. So, ABC course French, ABC course Spanish, ABC course English. And that's actually probably the more direct, easier approach. Yeah. I don't know, Will, what do you think? I mean, it depends on languages. I have a client that we're not using Google Translate. We're using Translate Press plus DeepL because it's a better language translation. And dude, they're literally in like 160 countries. And so they're handling like 18 languages, Arabic, Mandarin, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And I say crazy, don't be insulted if you're
viewing from that area. But it's like from a developer standpoint, it's like that's a lot of stuff. And if you're trying to support that content and that language translation along with video and audio, you've increased the difficulty or the involvement, 10 or 100 fold, depending on how many languages you're trying to support.
Yeah, there's a lot of value to adding language translation to your business. I think when you're going from 0 to 100 customers, there's no value. And then when you're going from like 100 to 1,000, there's like a little bit of value. And then 1,000 to 10,000 is where some real value comes in terms of providing other languages and really leveraging the distribution that has to offer for you. So I don't know where you're at in your growth journey, and where you're at in your growth journey, I think really affects what the answer is here, because it's like, well, what are you looking to invest in translation and how are you looking to do it? So I think that if you're going from the 0 to 100 mark and you know that you need to offer translated courses, it's not going to take you to like a lot. I don't think that's how you get from 0 to 100. But if you're trying to do it at that scale, I like what Kurt said about cloning your courses. If you are going from 100 to 1,000 and you'll receive probably like 10 conversions, 10 to 50 conversions, because you had, of your 900 sales, right, to go from 100 to 1,000, 50 to 100 of them are going to be because you offered a course in another language. Then you'd have a budget room to think about maybe integrating that DeepL in there. So then you could offer multiple languages, but now you're looking at integrating some tools that are really on the cutting edge. And then when you're going from that 1,000 student mark to that 10,000 student mark, and you're looking at 1,000 of your conversions or 500 of your conversions are going to be because you offered another language, or maybe even more at that scale. Now you're looking at the budget room to really integrate some interesting language solutions. You're looking at deploying different websites for different languages in different regions. Maybe you're looking at some big solutions to be able to offer that at a really large scale. I would like exploring DeepL probably as the middle option.
And he followed up and said it was just Spanish and English. So at least it's just 2 languages and not 18. But and if Google Translate's working for you, that's awesome. I personally think cloning the course and having an English, like ABC course English, ABC course Spanish, I think is very clear, communicates to the student well, and it works. But if you're translating, if you translated the whole site and it's based on the user, like, do you want to see it in Spanish or see it in English, and you want to do that one course but 2 different videos, you could have both videos on the course page and label them like video in English, video in Spanish, right? And give them the choice while they're in. That's completely workable since you only have 2 languages. In fact, what I do is I have a client that's done this, and they use the row setting with 2 columns, and then one column's English, one column Spanish, and they show up on the same page. And of course, they stack on mobile, so that works. But the other option would be to have your users, your students, self-select a language when they enroll. That creates a tag, and then that tag or enrollment isolates what block they would see. So when you set up your courses or set up your lessons, you would be having them select what language of the video they're going to see.
I like that solution the most for 2 languages for sure. Yeah. That's a great solution for 2 languages. Once you're going above 2 languages, you got to look at some of those more complex ideas, but 2 languages, that's perfect.
Yeah, dude, it's hard to believe that we're at the top of the hour already. And this is the first time ever that I've ever seen anybody actually submit a complaint that we didn't get to their question fast enough. So please know when you see these that there could be 2 people in here that ask a question. There could be 10 people in here that ask a question. We do this every week. We also have help at LifterLMS that you can submit questions to. This is what we do as our version of, free support through LifterLMS. Lifter does a great job of supporting the community. We've got the Facebook page. We've got all of that stuff that you can plug into for assistance. Plus, we have the full tutorials in the academy through the LifterLMS.com website. We also have the, help me Will, the knowledge base, right? We call it the knowledge base, I think. right?
Yeah.
And that's all through the LifterLMS.com. Part of what attracted me as a customer 9 years ago was the whole idea that everything I had a question about, I could find a resource for or find somebody to help me. It really did work out well. They earned me as a customer 9 years ago, and now here I am doing this whole thing. Remember that as a gift for attending this call, we do have a 55% off coupon. I'll go ahead and put that back in the chat again, and we'll go ahead and put that up on the window so you guys can see that. But that is lifterlms.com/AMA-gift get you 55% off. And for folks that are in the Universe Bundle or the Infinity Bundle, please know that we will be back in the next hour talking for another hour with people from all over the globe and helping people with their Lifter LMS setups. Anything to say before I hit the magic button, Will?
No, that sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week.